Welcome to Training Module 2. Today I will talk about ISO 10015 Section 4.3. Designing and planning the training, you will want to refer to Step 2 of your check sheet and Table A2 of the ISO guideline. In this video, we will address 4 components of designing and planning training. First, define the constraints of training. Second, identify training methods and criteria for selecting training methods. Third, write the training plan specification. In other words, writing both the course guide and the syllabi. Finally, select a training provider. For defining training constraints, there are several questions that need to be addressed. Please refer to Step 2, Question 1 of your check sheet. First, are there regulatory requirements imposed by law? Second, are there policy requirements, including those relating to human resources or imposed by the organization? Third, are there financial considerations? Fourth, are there timing and scheduling requirements? Fifth, are your employees available, motivated, and able to be trained? Sixth, are you able to perform in-house and/or outsource training to reputable training providers? Finally, are there constraints on any available resources? The list of constraints should be used in ISO subsections 4.3.3 of the selection of the training methods, 4.3.4 of the development of the training plan specification, finally 4.3.5 of the selection of the training provider. After you have identified the relevant items that constrain the training process, the next thing to do is to address the training methods using appropriate criteria. These criteria include, but are not limited to, date and location and facilities, cost, learning goals, learning outcomes, target group of trainees, duration of training, and sequence of implementation and forms of assessment, evaluation, and certification. Once you have identified your selection criteria, the next step is to select one or any of the following training methods. These include courses and workshops on or off-site, apprenticeships or internships, on-the-job coaching and counseling, self-training, and online learning. After you have selected training methods using appropriate criteria, the next step is to establish your training plan specifications, specifically writing both a course guide and a syllabus. As shown here on the left, the course guide states the department, the purpose, and the learning materials. It also includes contact hours, credit hours, the catalog course description, prerequisites, cost of the course and instructional resources needed, method of evaluation, and course outline. Instructional goals, learning outcomes, and assessment measures are also part of the course guide. It is important to remember that a course guide includes 3 to 5 goals. For every goal, there should be 2 or more learning outcomes. Assessment measures may include, but are not limited to, rubrics, presentations, and subject matter quizzing and testing. After you have created your course guide, the next step is to select and create any of the following: satisfaction survey from the trainee, satisfaction survey from the trainee's management, trainee's demonstration of knowledge, skills, and behaviors, trainees on the job performance, and the impact the training has or had on the trainee's organization, and procedures for monitoring the training process. After you have established your training plan specifications, the final sub-step of Step 2 is to select a qualified training provider. You should ensure you have written information such as profile, or in the case of an outsourced provider, catalogs or leaflets or website. If the training is outsourced, ensure you have an agreement or formal contract establishing ownership, roles, and responsibilities for the training process. This concludes Module 2 on designing and planning training for the ISO 10015 guideline. To recap, the purpose of this stage is to first define the constraints of training. Second, identify training methods and criteria for selecting training methods. Third, write the training plan specification, in other words, writing both the course guide and the syllabi. Finally, select a training provider. Thank you for watching my presentation. And as the HIT's motto states, be someone special, be a hit.